A quiet neighborhood in Butler County, Ohio. Families going about their daily lives, children laughing and playing. But on March 8, 2018, a horrifying act of violence shattered the peace. A desperate 911 call reported a 3-year-old girl had collapsed and was barely breathing at a babysitter's home.
Okay, my name is Lindsay. I babysit kids.
Yeah.
We just dropped her off, and all of a sudden she just passed out.
Paramedics rushed to the scene, only to find the child covered in bruises and clinging to life. Who could have committed such a heinous act against an innocent toddler? In the aftermath, suspicion swirled around the babysitter, a 36-year-old woman who gave conflicting accounts of what happened. But as investigators uncovered the extent of the child's injuries, a sinister picture began to emerge. The toddler had been a happy, energetic little girl. Her grieving family was determined to get justice and expose what really happened behind closed doors. This is the chilling true story of how one woman's rage led to the death of a defenseless 3-year-old. The quest for truth that rocked a caring community and revealed the consequences when trust is betrayed. Hello guys, and welcome back to Crimeco, where we meticulously dissect some of the most chilling true crime cases from every corner of the globe, providing you with the most recent and in-depth information. If this sparks your interest, we would be delighted if you could subscribe to the channel. Also, giving this video a like significantly supports the channel's growth. We appreciate your help. Now, let's dive into today's intriguing case. The events that shattered Hannah Weshy's family occurred in the township of Hanover, Butler County, Ohio. Located just 30 minutes north of Cincinnati, Hanover Township is a quintessential Midwest community with just over 10,000 residents. Tree-lined streets and modest single-family homes make up the bulk of the township. Neighbors know each other well in this quiet, predominantly white working-class area. Most residents commute to jobs in nearby Hamilton or Cincinnati. The township center consists of a few small shops and eateries around the main intersection. Community life revolves around the local school district, churches, youth sports leagues, and annual summer festivals. It was along one of these peaceful residential streets that Hannah Weshy's short life would be cut short, specifically the suburban ranch house at 4050 Shank Road, where her babysitter Lindsay Parton resided, became the site of Hannah's tragic death on March 8, 2018. Beyond the manicured lawns and friendly neighbors, a darker undercurrent had emerged at this unassuming address, one that would shatter the Wesh family and challenge the community's sense of safety. Born on January 11, 2015, Hannah Nicole Weshy entered the world fighting against the odds. Her mother, Adrienne Latham, struggled with heroin addiction and use during pregnancy. As a result, Hannah was born addicted to opioids with neonatal abstinence syndrome. She spent 2 difficult months in intensive care before finally going home. Hannah's early health struggles only seemed to make her more energetic and bubbly. She brought great joy to her father Jason Weshy's life and charmed everyone she met with her spirited personality. Jason Weshy was already a single father raising 2 daughters when Hannah was born. Her mother was incarcerated for offenses, leaving him to unexpectedly care for the newborn alone. For Hannah's first 2 years, she and her devoted father lived out of Jason's brother's home, and even his car at times, as Jason searched for work to support his 3 girls. He called Hannah his miracle baby and was determined to provide her with a stable home. Eventually, Jason found construction work in Hanover Township near Cincinnati and moved into a house on Shank Road with toddler Hannah. By 2018, 3-year-old Hannah was living there with her loving but often absent working father. She had blossomed into an energetic, affectionate little girl who enjoyed singing, dancing outdoors. When Jason started a demanding new construction job, he needed childcare for Hannah and arranged for their neighbor, Lindsay Parton, to babysit her full-time. Lindsay seemed ideal, At 36, she was a mother of 2 young daughters and had a degree in early childhood education. For 7 months, Lindsay watched Hannah 5 days a week at her home right next door on Shank Road. She even posted smiling photos with Hannah on social media, captioned, "Welcome, sweet Hannah." But behind those pictures, tensions built in Lindsay that would have deadly consequences.
I could just pay attention. Yeah. But I'll say, oh, did you fall? Did you jump off the couch again? Because she jumps off the couch a lot.
On the morning of March 8, 2018, Hannah's father Jason dropped 3-year-old Hannah off at Lindsay Parton's home around 7 a.m., just as he did most mornings before work. To Jason, it seemed a typical start to the day. Hannah appeared happy and energetic when he left her in Lindsay's care. However, neither could anticipate the unthinkable events about to shatter their lives once Hannah was in her babysitter's care. Within mere minutes, Lindsay called 911 in a panic, reporting Hannah had suddenly collapsed and was barely breathing.
She felt pretty bad yesterday, and she was fine, and then all of a sudden she felt like this one day she walked in and she kind of passed out. She might live.
When first responders arrived, they found Hannah completely unresponsive with troubling visible bruising on her head, face, and body. Lindsay gave vague and conflicting stories about Hannah possibly falling and hitting her head. At Cincinnati Children's Hospital, doctors determined Hannah had sustained traumatic head injuries, highly inconsistent with an accidental fall. She required immediate surgery, but the damage was catastrophic. Over the next 10 days, Hannah clung to life on full life support. But despite her loved ones' desperate prayers, her small body could not recover. On March 17th, Hannah heartbreakingly passed away from her injuries. The extent of Hannah's wounds revealed the dark truth: this was no accident. Some sinister form of child abuse had killed this innocent 3-year-old. Investigators were certain foul play occurred in the 1 minute 27 seconds Hannah was alone with Lindsay before collapsing. But piecing together what really happened in that home would require unraveling a web of lies. The nature of 3-year-old Hannah Weshy's devastating injuries left no doubt she was the victim of child abuse. But what exactly happened in the mere minutes between her father dropping her off at Lindsay Parton's home and her collapsing unconscious? In multiple interrogations, Lindsay spun an elaborate web of lies to conceal her monstrous acts. She claimed Hannah randomly collapsed after arriving that morning. When confronted with evidence of prior bruising, Lindsay alleged questionable stories of falls or accidents days earlier.
We walked in, she was in front of me, took off her jacket, and just fell forward. And like I said, Hannah, get up. What are you doing?
But forensic analysis proved Hannah's head trauma occurred immediately before her collapse, and Lindsay's ever-changing accounts crumbled under scrutiny. After adamant denials, the unthinkable truth emerged when investigators pressured Lindsay to come clean. In a cold, callous confession, Lindsay admitted she savagely beat defenseless Hannah that morning in a homicidal rage. Because Hannah cried after her father left, Lindsay spitefully slapped and shook the toddler violently. She punched Hannah forcefully in the head multiple times using boxing uppercut strikes. This brutal attack immediately sent Hannah into cardiac arrest and caused irreparable brain damage. Her symptoms left no possibility Hannah functioned normally beyond those initial moments in Lindsay's custody. In just over a minute, an overwhelmed babysitter let frustration explode into homicidal fury against a helpless 3-year-old. Her vicious assault snuffed out Hannah's bright future in the blink of an eye. In the immediate aftermath of Hannah Weshy's murder, the Butler County Sheriff's Office launched an investigation focused on the only 2 adults present that morning: Father Jason Weshy and babysitter Lindsay Parton. Detectives aggressively questioned both to uncover inconsistencies in their stories. Lindsay altered her account of what happened multiple times, while also confessing to other instances of striking and harming Hannah in the preceding days. Meanwhile, Jason Wesche was distraught over his daughter's dire condition, struggling to recount precise details during his urgent hospital vigil. His statements contained some inconsistencies, which Parton's defense would later emphasize to cast suspicion on him. But the investigation ultimately left no doubt Lindsay Parton was responsible. The nature of Hannah's head trauma, occurring immediately before collapse, ruled out her father inflicting the fatal blow that morning. Timeline and medical opinions proved Hannah was already near death when Jason briefly dropped her off. On March 13, 2018, Lindsay Parton was arrested and charged with felony murder and multiple counts of child endangerment for abusing Hannah Wesche over multiple days. While the bereaved Wesche family mourned Hannah's death on March 17, prosecutors built a deliberate case exposing Lindsay's pattern of escalating violence against a helpless toddler under her care. An emotional trial lay ahead. On April 2, 2019, Lindsay Parton stood trial for the murder of 3-year-old Hannah Wesche in Butler County, Ohio. The chilling details of how an overwhelmed babysitter unleashed deadly abuse elicited gasps in the courtroom. Prosecutors outlined a timeline of escalating violence, beginning with bruising Hannah days before her death. Medical experts provided testimony, proving Hannah's fatal head injury occurred immediate before collapse, when alone with Lindsay after her father dropped her off. The jury also heard Lindsay's own voice confessing to brutally striking Hannah, including shaking, hitting, and using boxing uppercut punches on her. Her constantly changing stories were picked apart as lies under interrogation footage and evidence. In her defense, Lindsay claimed police coerced her into a false confession, but the jury did not believe the detectives intimidated or threatened her during standard questioning. Her legal team also attempted to shift blame onto Hannah's father Jason for inconsistencies in his statements, rather than the physical evidence against Lindsay herself. But the effort to cast suspicion onto a grieving dad fell flat. After 8 days of heartbreaking testimony, the jury concluded the truth was clear. Lindsay Parton intentionally abused and murdered young Hannah. On April 12, they convicted her on all charges of murder, manslaughter, and child endangerment. Hannah finally received some justice. Following Lindsay Parton's conviction for murdering 3-year-old Hannah Wesche, the court proceeded to sentencing on May 24, 2019. Judge Greg Stephens had the difficult task of assigning punishment for such a heinous crime. Lindsay's loved ones testified to her good character and mothering nature, refusing to believe she was capable of such violence. But the judge maintained Hannah's extensive injuries spoke for themselves. He ultimately sentenced Lindsay to mandatory life in prison on the murder charge, with parole eligibility after 18 years. She received an additional 3 years for child endangerment charges. Lindsay continues to proclaim her innocence from prison, while her family pursues appeals and other legal avenues in hopes of overturning the conviction. In September 2020, the 12th District Court of Appeals upheld Lindsay's guilty verdict after her lawyers cited ineffective counsel and procedural errors. The ruling affirmed physical evidence and eyewitness testimony conclusively proved Lindsay's guilt. Hannah's family feels continued anguish knowing appeals could someday free her killer, but they find solace sharing Hannah's story to raise awareness about recognizing child abuse. Her memory drives their activism to protect vulnerable children from such evil. The shocking murder of Hannah Wesche devastated a community and left a family forever broken by injustice. Yet even in darkness, there are glimmers of light in valiant souls who turn pain into purpose. The senseless murder of 3-year-old Hannah Wesche at the hands of her babysitter Lindsay Parton is a profound tragedy. But through their relentless pursuit of justice and reform, Hannah's loved ones transform hardship into hope. Her father Jason faced unimaginable grief with poise and determination to expose the truth. Hannah's grandparents and extended family provided unwavering support to see Parton held accountable. and the community united to protect its most vulnerable members. Hannah's bright spirit continues to inspire change from the afterlife. Her case strengthened child protection laws, improved babysitter screening, and increased oversight for early childcare providers. It's a fitting legacy for a little girl who touched so many hearts before her light was extinguished. While evil exists in this world, goodness perseveres when people unite with courage. Hannah's story must encourage us to speak loudly against injustice and nurture the seeds of hope within every child, for they are the future we strive to shield from harm. Her memory teaches us to cherish each precious moment with our own little ones, to allow their joy and innocence to reignite our own. For in the smile of a child resides all that is right in this world. And so concludes another chilling chapter in the annals of history's gruesome crimes. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive to honor a young life that was cut too short, and to reflect on the justice her family fought tirelessly to achieve in her case. Before you leave, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. This will ensure you stay informed about the latest true crime cases we uncover. We're grateful to have you as part of our community as we explore the captivating mysteries that continue to fascinate us all. Stay curious and vigilant that even closed books still hold untold pages waiting patient revelation. Thank you for joining us, and we eagerly anticipate seeing you in our next exploration. Until next time.